Cagliari. UFC 267. Main card kicks off Magomed Ankalaev, Volkan Oezdemir, right? Yeah, Volkan Oezdemir coming in 17-5, 12 knockouts, 5-4 in the UFC. Beat Oven St. Preux, Misha Serkinov, Jimmy Manoa, and then lost to Daniel Cormier, Anthony Smith, and Dominic Reyes. He beat Ir Latifi, Alexander Rakic, and then lost his most recent fight to Yuri Atska in July 2020, so a little over a year off for Oezdemir. Ankalaev is 15-1. He lost his UFC debut by submission to Paul Craig in 2018. Since then, he's on a 6-fight winning streak. That includes 2 knockouts over Ion Kutulaba and knockout over Nikita Krylov. 9 knockout wins, 4 in the UFC. He's a master of sport in combat sambo. He's got a slight height advantage, but he's got the same reach as Oezdemir. I think he's got stronger knockout power, better technical striking. Ozdemir's really, he's got like one-punch knockout power, but he doesn't got combinations like Ankalaev does. Ankalaev definitely has the grappling advantage, in my opinion, as well. So this was a pretty easy one for me. I got Magomed Ankalaev. What do you got?
Ankalaev.
Huh?
Ankalaev?
Ankalaev?
Hell yeah.
Ankalaev.
Yeah, he on it.
Next fight, Li Jingliang versus Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev is going to come in with a 2-inch height, 3-inch reach advantage. Blue belt in jiu-jitsu, 9-0, 6 knockout wins, 3 submission wins in his career. He's 3-0 in the UFC with a submission win over John Phillips, knockout win over Heis McKee, and then also a knockout win over Gerald Mearshart. His last fight was September of 2020. And the opponents, the combined record of his 6 fights before he got to the UFC is 28-6. So a lot of times you see guys come in when they're undefeated. They got a lot of hype coming up with them. Normally they fight guys like that making their debut, guys that have losing records. This guy has 6 fights prior to the UFC. 28-6 was their combined record. Chimaev's the real deal. He's going up against Ling Jiang, who has got black belt in jiu-jitsu, 18-6. Only been finished 1 time. That was a submission loss to Kita Nakamura in 2015. What was that?
Screw.
Let's see. He's been with the company since 2014. 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Got wins over David Zabata, Alessio Zaleski dos Santos, and Santiago Ponzinibbio. Was a knockout in January. Talked about him only being finished once. He's a really tough guy. He's got a tough chin. Chimaev's got dominant grappling, dominant striking. We've seen him switch it up depending on who he's fighting. I would have to imagine with Ling Jiang, he's going to try to strike with him. He's got crisp jab. In my mind, all-around better fighter than Li Jiang, so I'm going to go Khamzat Chimaev. Who do you got, D-Dog?
Ling Jiang, bro. Ling Jiang.
You got Ling Jiang.
Yeah, man. Dude ain't fought a fight since 2020.
That's not good, I don't think. I mean, it could be, but most of the time it's proved to not be the best thing to not fight for a while.
I don't know, man. 28-6, 18-6.
These are also the odds. Chimaev's a minus 350
I've
favorite.
seen him.
So I'm going to go Chimaev. Alexander Volkov, Marcin Tybura. Volkov, former Bellator heavyweight champ, former M1 Global heavyweight champ. 7-3 in the UFC. His only losses are to Derek Lewis by knockout, Curtis Blades by decision, and then Cyril Gahn by decision. That fight was in June. He's 33-9. On the camera, too. 22 knockout wins. He's got career wins over Alistair Overeem, Walt Harris, Greg Hardy, Fabricio Verdum, Roy Nelson, and then Blagny Ivanov and Rico Rodriguez before he got into the UFC. Tybura's coming in with a 4-inch height, 2-inch reach disadvantage. Black belt in jiu-jitsu, former M1 Global heavyweight champion, 9-5 in the UFC. He's on a 5-fight winning streak right now with decision wins over Sergey Spivak, Maxim Gresham, Ben Rothwell, and then knockout wins over Greg Hardy and Walt Harris. Never been submitted in his career, but he was knocked out in 4 out of 6 of his losses. He's got 9 knockout wins, 6 submission wins. He's going up against a dominant striker who's got a big size advantage over him in Volkov. And 4 out of 6 of his losses are via knockout, so he's susceptible to the knockout. And I think that's what happens on Saturday night. Alexander Volkov walks in, uses his long-range kickboxing, and is able to finish him early in the first, maybe in the second.
Because he's shorter?
Tybor is shorter, and Tybor is more of a grappler. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got decent striking, but 4 out of 6 of his losses are via knockout.
I got Tybor, man.
Yeah, that's two. Islam Makhachev versus Dan Hooker. Makhachev, minus 575 favorite, 6-time Sambo champion, 4-time nationally. He's 20-1. His last fight was a knockout, or no, his only loss was a knockout loss to Adriano Martinez, his second fight in the UFC. He's on an 8-fight winning streak right now that includes Armand Tussaran, Drew Dober, and Thiago Moraes. 9 out of 20 his wins via submission. He's a dominant grappler, same as Khabib. He trains with Khabib and Daniel Cormier out at American Kickboxing Academy. His striking's pretty good, but I think he's going to rely mostly on his grappling, especially against the kickboxer and Dan Hooker, who is 21-10, 10 knockout wins, 7 submission wins, 11-6 in the UFC. He's got wins over Nasrat Hapkarast, Paul Felder, Alain Quinta, and Gilbert Burns. He got Fight of the Night honors for the fight against Paul Felder and his loss to Dustin Poirier. Very durable guy, great chin, great striker, good leg kicks, good jab. But we've seen time and time again that his grappling it comes into question. His grappling is not the best, and Islam Makhachev has very dominant top pressure Sambo grappling. So not the most exciting fighting style, the Sambo grappling, but I think Islam Makhachev by you fucking smell that?
What?
Like smells like trash or something. You don't smell that?
No.
Islam Makhachev I got. Who you got? Islam Makhachev or Drew Dober? Or not Drew Dober, Dan Hooker.
Hold on. Who's the top? Islana.
Islam.
Islana.
Petraeun versus Corey San Hagen. Jan lost his belt to Aljamain Sterling to a legal knee. Aljamain Sterling, he was booked to fight him. I think this night was supposed to be him versus Aljo, but Aljo still nursing that neck injury, could not take the fight.
Which one? Who got a neck injury?
Aljamain Sterling, he's not fighting.
Oh.
He's the guy that took the belt from Petraeun with the illegal knee. He's 15-2. He's never been finished in his career. His only other loss was a split decision loss to Magomedov in 2016. Split decision basically means that there's 3 judges. One of the judges said he won. 2 of the judges said he lost. So it's a split decision. He won the title against Jose Aldo in 2020. And the guys he had to fight leading up to the title fight were John Dodson, Jimmy Rivera, and Uriah Hall. He beat all 3 of those guys. John Dodson in the later part of his career. Uriah Faber, definitely in the later part of his career. Jose Aldo, again, definitely in the later part of his career. Petraeun has got great boxing. He's going up against a much taller, much lankier Corey San Hagen. Corey San Hagen is 14-3, 2-2 in his last 4. He lost a split decision to TJ Dillashaw in his last fight in July. 6-2 in the UFC. He's got UFC wins over Frankie Edgar, Marlon Moraes, Rafael Assunção, and John Lineker. He's only been finished once, and that was a submission loss to Aljamain Sterling. He's got 6 knockout wins, 3 submission wins. Like we said, 4-inch height, 5-inch reach advantage. He's got the size over Petraeun. He's got great unorthodox striking. Spin kicks are going to come from him, leg kicks. Pretty good hands boxing, but Petraeun is definitely going to come into the fight the better boxer, and he's going to have more power in his hands. Going to be more likely to land a knockout blow. I think Petraeun. Plus 200 underdog. If I was going to bet any fight on this card, it would be that one just to try to make some money, and I'm going to go Corey San Hagen with that one.
Sanhagen all the way.
Sanhagen. Han Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira. Jiu-jitsu versus all-around fighter, power striking. Blachowicz is 28. You're going to stop barking at me, man. I ain't bring you out here so you can bark at me. 28-8 is Blachowicz. 17 finishes, 8 by knockout, 9 by submission. He's on a 5-fight winning streak right now. Knockout win over Luke Rockhold, split decision win over Jacare Souza, knockout win over Corey Anderson, and a TKO win over Dominic Reyes that won him the light heavyweight title. He then went on to beat Israel Adesanya, who was trying to move up to light heavyweight by decision in March. He's 11-4 in the UFC, black belt in jiu-jitsu. going against Teixeira, who's a second-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, 32-7 on a 5-fight winning streak. Submission win over Carl Robinson, Ion Cutelaba, and then a split decision win over Nikita Krylov, followed by a TKO win over Anthony Smith and a submission win over Thiago Santos in November of 2020. So this is almost a year off for Glover as well. 18 wins by knockout, 9 wins by submission. Never been submitted in his career, but has been knocked out in 3 out of 7 of his losses. I want to say I want Glover to share to win really, really badly. I think, a guy being 40-something years old and winning a UFC title would be awesome. He's got great grappling. I think that's probably going to be his only advantage coming into this fight, because he's going to be undersized compared to Blachowicz. Blachowicz is going to be stronger than him, I believe. Better striking, and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so he's good on the ground. It's not like he's bad on the ground or anything. I just give Glover a little bit of an edge on the ground. So, smart pick. I'm going to go Han Blachowicz, but I really like Glover share to win.
Blachowicz, man, just because he beat Adesanya.
Yeah, you like Adesanya?
Hell yeah.
The rest of the card comes out Amanda Ribas, Virginia Jandanobia, Ricardo Ramos versus Zybura Tukurov, Albert Durev versus Roman Kopylov, Alessio Zaleski dos Santos versus Benoit Saint Denis, making his UFC debut, Michel Olajewski versus Shamil Gatsmarov, Makwan Americani is going to be fighting Lerone Murphy, Hu Yazong versus Andrei Petrosky, Damir Azmagulov taking on Magomed Mustafayev, and then finally Tagir Ulanbekov versus Alan Nascimento. So every single one of them is foreigners that I can't pronounce. And if I have to pick one fight to highlight on the prelims, it's going to be Americani versus Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy coming in minus 350 favorite. Americani is just way too scrappy. He's got good striking, very tough chin. I think those odds are way out of whack. I think it should be way closer of a fight than they're making out to be for Lerone Murphy. So that's going to be my highlighted fight on the prelims. Hopefully next week we got Ian back. He apologizes. My boy Dalton right here.
In it.
Sign off. Say something.
Deuces.
Fuck him. Fuck him is what we say.
Fuck him. Fuck him.